Marcus found a receipt in his jacket pocket that he'd never received, dated 5 days into the future. It started on a Tuesday. Marcus was grabbing his dry cleaning when he felt something crinkle in his jacket pocket. A receipt from Savamart grocery store. Nothing unusual, except for one detail. The transaction date read May 27th. Today was May 22nd. He assumed it was a mistake, a printing error maybe. But as he read the items, his stomach tightened. The receipt listed specific groceries: 2 steaks, a bag of organic spinach, a bottle of red wine, and a rotisserie chicken. Exact quantities. Exact prices. Total, $47.38. Marcus didn't remember buying these items. He checked his bank account. Nothing pending. No charge whatsoever. He forgot about it until Thursday. That's when he got a text from his ex-wife, Jennifer. She wanted to talk. Could he come over for dinner on Saturday? She had something important to discuss. He agreed, thinking maybe it was about their daughter's tuition. Saturday arrived. Marcus drove to Jennifer's house with no expectations. She opened the door with that familiar smile and invited him inside. The living room smelled like cooking. Real cooking. She'd been planning this. "I've missed you," she said. "I wanted to remind you why we were good together." She'd made dinner. 2 steaks, organic spinach salad, a rotisserie chicken still warm from the oven, even a bottle of red wine. He recognized everything on that receipt instantly. His hands started shaking. "What's wrong?" Jennifer asked. Marcus pulled out the receipt with trembling fingers. It was dated May 27th. Today was May 25th. He'd received it 5 days early. Jennifer's face went white as he explained. She didn't believe him at first, but the receipt was real. The handwriting on it was dated 2 days in the future. "This doesn't make sense," she whispered. They sat in silence, the food growing cold on the table. Marcus kept staring at that receipt. Every item, every price, all of it manifested exactly as predicted. 2 days before the moment it was supposed to exist. He tried to think rationally. Someone had to have slipped it in his pocket. Some kind of prank. But who? And how would they know he'd accept Jennifer's dinner invitation? He hadn't even known himself until she texted him. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He searched his email, his text history, everything. No hint of how that receipt got into his possession. The Savamart store had no record of the transaction. The date didn't exist in their system. The receipt itself was pristine, not worn, not crumpled, like it had materialized from nowhere. He started thinking about the implications. If he had the receipt 5 days early, what did that mean? Was the future fixed? Was he just following a script that something else had already written? Over the next week, Marcus experimented. He tried to deviate from the receipt's path. He considered not going to dinner. But curiosity won out. He had to know if everything would happen exactly as documented. It did. Every single item. Every exact price. The dinner happened almost word for word how he imagined it would based on that receipt. After that night, Marcus became obsessed. He checked his pockets constantly. He examined every receipt, every piece of paper that touched his hands. He was waiting for the next one. The next glimpse into a future that apparently was already written. He never got another receipt. But sometimes when he's in Savamart, he'll see receipts on the ground. He picks them up and checks the dates. Most are from the past. But occasionally, he finds one with a date slightly in the future. A few days ahead. A few items listed. A total price in the corner. He never buys those items. He never follows those receipts. Because after that first one, Marcus realized something terrifying. Maybe we're all walking around with futures that have already been decided. Maybe somewhere, someone, or something has already printed out the receipt for every moment of our lives. And we're just following this script, buying what we're supposed to buy, going where we're supposed to go, saying what we're supposed to say. And the worst part? We'll never know until we find that receipt in our pocket.
Was an envelope addressed to Sarah Henderson at that very address. The postmark was illegible, smudged beyond recognition. He almost threw it away. Should have thrown it away. Instead, he walked it up to the front door anyway. That's when things got strange. The next day, another letter arrived for that house. Then, another. Within a week, Marcus was delivering 5, sometimes 6 pieces of mail daily to the abandoned Henderson residence, all addressed to different family members, all with smudged postmarks he couldn't read. Out of curiosity, or maybe morbid compulsion, Marcus started opening them. The first letter was from someone claiming to be Sarah's mother. The woman had been dead for 3 years. He knew because he'd seen the obituary in the local paper. The handwriting was shaky, the words confused. It talked about missing Sarah, about a place that felt empty and wrong, about wanting to come home. Marcus's hands shook as he read it. The second letter was from Sarah's father, also deceased. For 7 years, he wrote about being cold, always cold. He asked Sarah why she'd left him behind. Every single piece of mail that came to that house was from someone dead. Marcus considered reporting it to his supervisor. But report what? That he was receiving mail from the deceased? They'd think he was losing his mind. Maybe he was. He started keeping the letters in a box under his bed, unable to stop collecting them, unable to destroy them. Then one morning, something appeared in his mailbag that didn't have postage. No address. Just his name on the envelope in handwriting he recognized instantly, his own handwriting. Inside was a single sentence: "Stop delivering our mail or join us." Marcus quit the next day. Didn't give notice. Just stopped showing up. A month later, he started receiving mail at his home. Letters from himself, but written in different styles, different hands. Some in handwriting from when he was a child. Some in handwriting he'd never written with before, but somehow recognized. They all said the same thing: "You know where we are now. We're waiting." Last week, Marcus's neighbor reported him missing. Police found his apartment empty, no signs of struggle. But in his mailbox, they found something peculiar. Hundreds of letters, all addressed to Marcus Chen, all postmarked from the Henderson house, all sent from people who were supposed to be dead. The Postal Service had no explanation. Neither did the police. But the letters kept coming. To his old address, to the police station, to anywhere. His name appeared in any database. Some say if you look closely at your own mail, you might find one addressed to you in handwriting you don't recognize, with a postmark that makes no sense. Some say the postal system reaches further than we understand, that it connects places the living can't access. And some say if you ever receive mail from someone you know is dead, the only thing you can do is keep delivering it, because they're still trying to get home.
What if I told you that every photograph you take is actually a window into the future, and you're too late to stop what's coming? My name is James, and I discovered this in the worst possible way. It started with my daughter's school photos. They arrived on a Tuesday, and my wife Emma was thrilled. She spread them across the kitchen counter. Standard shots, smiling faces, nothing unusual. But then I noticed something that made my blood run cold. In the background of one photo, There was a red car partially visible through the window behind the kids. A car I didn't recognize. 3 weeks later, that exact red car crashed through the fence at the school's parking lot. The driver had a seizure. A child was nearly hit. I told Emma it was a coincidence. She nodded, but her eyes said she didn't believe me either. Then came the vacation photos. We went to the beach in July. Innocent snapshots. Me with my arm around Emma, the kids building sandcastles, sunset shots over the water. But when I looked at the photo of Emma by the pier, I saw something reflected in her sunglasses. A body, face down, in the water. She drowned 6 months later. Not at that beach, but in our swimming pool. An aneurysm while she was swimming alone. I stopped taking pictures after that. But the universe doesn't let you ignore a curse. I started seeing them everywhere. A family photo someone shared on Facebook. I could see the car crash happening in the reflection of a window 3 weeks before it occurred. A selfie at a restaurant. A carbon monoxide detector I'd never noticed before, glowing with deadly gas. Then my son asked me to take his photo for his college applications. Just a simple headshot. I tried to refuse, but he got angry. He was 18. I couldn't protect him forever. I took the photo. When I looked at the image on my camera's screen, I saw him, older, bloodied, with something that looked like a hospital ID band around his wrist. The date on a calendar behind him read March 15th out. I checked my phone. It was February 27th. 16 days. I spent those 16 days in pure hell, trying to keep him inside, finding excuses, lying, getting him admitted to a psychiatric facility. Anything to keep him away from whatever that photograph showed. But yesterday, he climbed out a window. Today is March 15th. The police arrived at my door this morning. There was an accident on Route 9. A motorcycle hit a delivery truck. The driver is in critical condition at Mercy General Hospital. They're asking if I know anyone who drives a bike. I do. I've seen photos of it. In the background of pictures I took 6 months ago. The real horror isn't what the photographs show. It's that I can see the future, but I can't change it. Every image I take is a promise, a guarantee. And if I've learned anything, it's that the future always collects its debts. I'm writing this because I need someone to know what happens when you can see tomorrow. But mostly I'm writing this because I just bought a new camera. The old one broke, and I have to photograph the crime scene.
Inside, my wife Sarah didn't understand what I was talking about. She looked at the backyard through the kitchen window and said it looked exactly like it always had. She saw the oak tree. She saw our fence. She saw nothing wrong. When I insisted we go out and walk it together, she followed me outside, but she was looking at me like I was losing my mind. That's when I saw them. In the backyard, I was seeing the empty one. There were people. At least a dozen. Maybe more. They were standing perfectly still among the grass, facing away from me toward the back fence. They weren't moving. They weren't making any sound. They were just waiting. Sarah couldn't see them. She walked right past where a woman in a blue dress was standing. I grabbed her arm and asked if she saw that person, and she pulled away, genuinely frightened now. "James, there's nobody there," she whispered. But I could see them clearly. The woman in blue, a man in a suit, 3 children holding hands, an elderly couple, all facing the back fence, all completely silent. That night, I researched the property history. The previous owner had sold it to us without incident, but before that, the house had been on the market for 3 years. No one wanted it. There were no complaints listed about the property itself, just empty showings. No offers. Nothing. I dug deeper and found an article from 1987. The house had belonged to a man named Harold Kress. He'd been accused of something terrible, though the details were vague. The article mentioned he'd been arrested in his backyard while digging. They'd found nothing. No evidence. No body. He was released, and the case went cold. The backyard he was digging in, I checked the photo in the old newspaper microfilm at the library. It was our backyard. Same fence, same tree. Everything matched. That night, I saw them again. More of them this time. Dozens. All standing in the backyard that only I could see. All facing the back fence. And I realized something that made my blood go cold. They weren't just standing there. They were waiting for something. Or someone. The next morning, I woke up and looked out the window. In my version of the backyard, the empty one. The people had moved closer to the fence. Just slightly. An inch or two. Still silent. Still patient. Sarah still sees our normal backyard. Still sees the tree. Still sees nothing wrong. But I can feel something shifting in my house. Every time I look out that window, there are more of them. And they're getting closer to the fence. Last night I noticed something else. They're starting to turn around. I don't know what happens when they're fully turned around. I don't know what they want. But I know I can't leave this house. Not yet. Because if I do, I'm terrified that the backyard I see might become the one everyone else sees. And I'm even more terrified of what they'll do once they've turned completely to face me.
In 1987, a factory worker named Robert Chen clocked out at 5:47 p.m. He was never seen again. But here's the disturbing part. His time card kept punching itself for another 12 years. The Meridian manufacturing plant operated on the edge of town, a sprawling complex of metal and concrete that had been running the same production line since the 1960s. Robert Chen had worked there for 19 years. He was reliable, quiet, never missed a shift. On November 13, 1987, he came in like always, worked his 8 hours, and approached the time clock at the end of his shift. Witnesses say he smiled at them, something unusual for Robert. He put his card in the slot. The machine stamped, 5:47 p.m. He walked toward the exit. No one saw him leave the building. The security guard at the front desk had stepped away for a bathroom break. The back exit doors had malfunctioned that day. When Robert didn't show up the next morning, his supervisor checked the time clock records. His card was there, but something was wrong. Robert's card kept punching in and out. Every single day. 5:47 p.m. out. Dot away. 6:0 a.m. in. For 12 years, that card registered perfect attendance. The timestamps were exact, identical, mechanical. The factory's mechanical time clock didn't have the capability to produce false readings. It was purely mechanical. No electronics, no computer systems. Yet it continued to punch Robert's card as if he were walking through that gate every morning and leaving every evening. In 1992, Management finally removed the card. They didn't know what else to do. The card was sent to the corporate office in Chicago. It disappeared from their records within a month. But the strangest detail came from the factory's old security logs that surfaced decades later. On the day Robert disappeared, there was a note written in the logbook by the guard, barely legible. RC passed through. Smiled different, walked wrong. In 2003, during renovations, workers found something behind the factory's west wall. A space that shouldn't have existed in the building's blueprints. Inside were dozens of time cards, all dated 1987, all belonging to Robert Chen, all stamped with impossible times. 5:47 p.m. Over and over, hundreds of times on a single card. Robert Chen was never found. But every year on November 13th, security guards at the Meridian plant report the same thing. The sound of a time clock punching, even though there hasn't been a mechanical clock there since 1992. Marcus Chen received a voicemail on Tuesday that made him question everything he thought he knew about time, death, and the impossible. It started like any other workday. Marcus was sitting in his office when his phone buzzed. A missed call. Unknown number. He almost deleted it, but something made him listen. The voicemail was 3 minutes long. Static filled the first 10 seconds, then he heard it. His own voice, older, weathered, unmistakably his but aged at least 20 years. It was saying a eulogy. His eulogy. Marcus was a good man, his future self said. He didn't deserve what happened to him, but he went out trying to help someone else. That's who he was. The message ended abruptly with what sounded like muffled crying and church bells in the background. Marcus checked the phone number. Blocked. Docked. He tried calling it back. Disconnected. He checked his call logs. The number never appeared anywhere, not in his phone system, not in his carrier's records. It was like the call existed only in that voicemail. For 3 days, Marcus tried to rationalize it. A prank. Deepfake.audio.car. A glitch in the matrix of modern technology. But he couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had broken. He told his therapist. She suggested stress-induced delusion. He told his best friend, Derek. Derek went pale and asked him not to mention it again. Then, on Friday, Marcus was driving home when he saw a woman stranded on the highway, her car smoking on the shoulder. Every instinct told him to keep driving. Something about that voicemail, those warning bells, the phrase he went out trying to help someone else, it all clicked into place like a nightmare made literal. He stopped anyway. When Marcus pulled over and approached her, she seemed relieved at first. Then her expression changed. She reached into her jacket. The next seconds happened too fast for his mind to process. She had a knife. She was saying things that didn't make sense. Accusations, anger, a rage born from some personal tragedy he'd never caused. As Marcus scrambled backward, he realized he recognized her face. It was his daughter's best friend from college. A girl he'd met once, 5 years ago. A girl whose father had died in an accident. A girl who'd apparently spent years tracking him, convinced he was responsible somehow. The struggle was violent and brief. Marcus made it back to his car, bleeding from his shoulder, and drove to the hospital in a haze. The doctors said he was lucky. Another inch deeper and he'd have bled out. That night, alone in his hospital bed, Marcus's phone buzzed. Another voicemail from that same blocked number. This time, his future self sounded younger, closer to his current age. You survived. Good. But listen carefully. You're being given a choice that most people never get. Tomorrow, when they tell you about her family's lawsuit, about the media attention, about what this will do to your career and your life, you need to decide. Do you stay and fight, or do you disappear? The voice paused. She was wrong, and that first message you heard was the real future. Choose right, and maybe we can change what comes next. Marcus never found out who the caller was, or how they accessed messages from timelines that shouldn't exist. He never discovered the truth about whether the woman who attacked him was insane, or whether she really had lost her father in circumstances he'd forgotten about. What he did know was that the voicemail from his funeral stopped playing. When he tried to retrieve it, his phone acted like it had never existed. And every night, he still waits for the phone to buzz. Because deep down, Marcus understands something that keeps him awake. Someone, somewhere in the future, found a way to send him a warning. And the fact that they had to send it twice means the first timeline is still in play. The choice hasn't actually been made yet. It's still coming.